finally got one to take this bait. This is a good slab right here. Bam. That's how it's done, folks. Structure outside of a spawning bed. That's all it is. That's about a 12 and a half, 13-inch fish. Fat too. No eggs in it, but fat. Spawned out a little bit.
Thanks for watching 3 Pound Fishing, partnered up with these fantastic companies.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to 3 Pound Fishing. We're out on the water. This is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna fish brush piles during the spawn. People are always under the impression that you always have to fish shallow, and that is just not the case. Plain and simple, fish are spawning throughout the entire spawning season at different times, right? So we got different fish at different stages during that process. And I'm telling you, if you fish some of these brush piles that maybe are just a little bit more shallow, there's fish out there waiting to come in and spawn. And it's a really good tactic, especially if you're on that transition period between pre-spawn and spawn. A lot of fish will be hanging out on these brush piles and these structures right outside their spawning area. So that's what we're gonna do today, folks. Fish, push, fish, boat, bam!
There it is. I still didn't get the action that I wanted, but we're catching fish, which is good. This is good fish too. Still got eggs in this one. Hey, at the end of this episode, I'm going to show you guys something really special. We're going to actually clean some fish. We got a fish fry coming up. During a guide trip, I had a guy give me a bucket and explain to me how it worked. And so I went ahead and made one at home, and today we're going to try it out for the first time. But it basically auto cleans those fish for you when you're cleaning them. So you put the fillets in there and it cleans out the water, makes everything crystal clear. So we're going to give it a rip. So a lot of these fish are on these pieces of structure outside the spawning area. So what we're going to talk about today is fishing those structures, because all these fish are not just all of a sudden rushing forward all at once. Every fish is at a different stage during this whole process. And this is a good time because you can do a lot of different types of fishing during the spawn. So we're going to fish structure right outside of spawning areas. That's how we're going to put fish in the boat. And I always start with your simple jig setup. Let's see here. I've got one here with bluegrass that we're going to use with a wild pink head. We're going to try that out first today. I don't know what's going to work. You know, the great thing about live scope is when you're running around looking for these brush piles or the piles that you already have marked, you're going to find new piles. Make sure you mark them. All right, I don't see nearly the fish we need to see on that, so we're going to move. I don't stick around too long. I mean, the live scope allows that to occur. If I don't see fish, we're moving on. We're not, that's going to have too much. Look at that tuxedo, folks. Wow. And that guy's all the way out here outside of the spawning area. Bam, that's a good looking fish. Let me show you what I got going on here, folks. I'm gonna do a whole episode focusing on my helm, but right now this is the new setup that I've got going. Perspective, live scope, maps. That basically allows me to do just about anything that I need to do. Now I'm going to be honest about the perspective view. Right now I'm not too hot on it. I'm sure I need to learn how to tweak it a little bit better, and hopefully somebody will help me out on that. But perspective view doesn't give me the, I don't know, doesn't add to it enough for it to actually have its own screen right now. So, you know, I do need that second live scope up front regardless for the guide trips. So it was well worth the effort. But perspective view hasn't really excited me yet. It hasn't really put me on the fish, so to speak, but we'll see. It's still out for debate. So all we're doing is identifying where some spawning areas could be and just trying to find structure. It's really no different than any other day. You come through with side imaging, you identify some structure, you fish that structure that's perhaps a little bit closer to the shoreline or the spawning areas, places you feel that that's where they would be spawning. So don't forget, folks, guide trips, April, May. Got a good schedule going, even though what's going on in the world. The guide trips are good. I got a 20-foot boat. The person will stay on that side of the boat. I'll stay on this side of the boat, vice versa, just to make sure that everybody is compliant and that we're playing it safe out there. Nice little fishy. The first one we had was big, but we missed them.
Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up, I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be.
That's a pretty good little. That's a good amount. That's, you know, a solid 12 fish or so, somewhere around there. Good for a meal. You don't need to keep a ton. This is perfect for what I need. And yeah, awesome fish today. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. All right, so I wanted to show you guys a cleaning thing, that apparatus that somebody had given me during a guide trip. I forgot who it was, but it was very generous. But if you notice the holes right there around the top, basically you're filling the water up and the fillets are in there and the guts and the nasty stuff come out of those holes. So by the time you're done cleaning your fillets, everything's already clean and pristine. Well, the guy told me that actually the spigot needs to come from the bottom of the bucket, and that pushes everything up. So I went ahead and made one with a 5-gallon bucket right here. As you can see, there's the attachment down there at the bottom. And the only thing I forgot to do was to drill the dang holes in the top. So I'm just gonna let it overflow over the top of the bucket, and I think that'll do the same thing, but eventually I will drill the holes so that they seep out. I think actually, even if you did just one hole, that would be great. I'm like a big square, something like that, so everything just kind of really is forced out that one particular location. We'll see if it works here. I'll show you.
Thanks for watching another 3 Pound Fishing episode, sponsored by these great companies.